Hello, I think I'm live. And I hope I've got some chat popped out here. Here we go. I don't know if that's going to work. Yes, okay. Right. I keep promising to do little hauls, don't I? So, hello, Karen. Fantastic, it's working. Yes! The triumph of a treasure pirate over the crap that is technology. I don't know if anyone else is going to pop in. I'm sort of sat here with this shut just to try and make the lighting a bit better. Oh gosh, listen, I'm very bright today. Look, there's no black. Well, there's some black, but it's. I mean, look, I'm in hippie mode. Woohoo! I thought, obviously I'm a hippie, but there we go. Afternoon, lobster pot. Afternoon, Phoebe Finn Fashion Plus. I'm sorry, I'm hopeless with my furs. Cleopatra. I'm liking the name. Hello, Cleopatra. I'm not sure I've seen you before. Busy Bee Mummy. Well, that's a good story, isn't it? It's a fantastic name. The names just get funnier and funnier and better and better. Yes, you've got to make up for your treasure pirate this morning once again. Excuse the face, because I don't care. I thought if I don't show you some of my bits, I have to show you my bits. You'll start thinking she's lying. She doesn't get anything, and I keep saying I'm going to do a sales bid, don't I? But the difficulty with that is I haven't worked out, even on this computer, which will do live streams, as you can see, how to screen share and show you. So it'll end up being very shaky phone photographing. But I guess, some of the stuff I buy does sell, plainly. I eat. I manage to eat. So, yeah, I can show you some of the bits and pieces that I've got. Oh, and some more. Wow, everyone's around today. This is fantastic. Hello, Karen. Hello, Indy. Oh, Julie Halilizine. Kirsty Victoria Retro. I'm guessing I'm into vintage and retro. Rubik's 81. And Flipping Fantastic Finds. Hello. Welcome. That's fantastic. Well, it's lovely to have you all here. And Carol Williams as well. Do you like the top? I don't know what brand it is. I bought it at some very hippie occasion that I can't go into detail about. But it's gorgeous and it's a mad colour. But the only problem with it is you have to hand wash it in cold water. Otherwise, it's one of those ones that the colour just kind of flows out of it. So in order to make it last more than 5 minutes, I wash it carefully. And I hate hand washing things, so it doesn't come out very often. Carol's a hippie too. Yeah, it's a bit of a joke, isn't it? Yes, we are hippies. I was always called a hippie when I was at school because I had long hair. At the time when it was deeply unfashionable to have long hair. It has to be said. Now, this time I've been a bit clever, unusually for me, and actually left some of the tags on things so that I can actually show you what I paid for stuff. I have to say, the thing I loved most, oh my goodness, more people, DBG, hello, Shell Staruni's in, hi Shelley. Wow. This needs a saucer of milk, except it doesn't because it's vegan and it's friendly and it's so soft and beautiful. I can't really show you. It's almost, yeah, getting the light in here was a nightmare. It is faux fur, but it's not just any faux fur. It's very beautifully made and it almost looks like the real furs do, where they kind of have this, it's like banding in the coat. It's been so well made that it was £10. It was 10 English pounds, and I thought it's good value. I knew it was fantastic. I thought, well, surely you can get, I've got to get at least 40 for it, which makes it sort of worth doing. But then I looked up the brand. Now that's backwards to me, but I think you see things the right way around, if I'm right in thinking. You put me on the TV. Oh, Jesus, you don't want me that big. No, you do not want to see this face that big. Trust me. Helen Berman. Now, this is actually quite a high end. So I'm probably looking at about £75 on this. It's not really the season for a fur coat, but, give it a few chilly days and the orders might pick up again. But it was so nicely made. That's what I'm saying. I didn't know the brand. I hummed and hawed for about 3 seconds and missed a nice coast coat that the lady next to me grabbed, which was also equally beautiful. But I keep saying to myself, I'm not going to buy great big things because they take space, which I'm sort of rapidly running out of. But I could kick myself because actually I've disproved that very completely this morning. They take space and they're not always fast sellers. Indy sold a faux fur last week. It does look posh, and it is absolutely beautiful. It's a size 12, but it would fit me, except it cost the bag. But, you know, I don't really do fur, but you can tell from the feel of it that it isn't just that nylon-y stuff, and I'm not disparaging the nylon-y ones, because obviously no animal is harmed in the making of, but this is really, really something. So I was quite impressed by that. And it's not vintage, it's a modern one, but I couldn't not really. So just chuck that over there. What else have I got? I actually spent £35 last week. Now, for me to spell for me to spend £35 in one day, you know, in one shop is almost unheard of. I don't know. I get kind of nervous around spending money, and I didn't come back with a huge amount for that £35 because there was a tenner on that. More bread and buttery stuff, I suppose, is this. They are fat faced, but they're shorts, quite long shorts. And I got these ostensibly for my tall, long husband, who is very difficult to buy anything for because they're a 34 and that sort of fits him. And I thought he'd quite like those. They are actually slightly too big, which is interesting because he's normally a 34. But I'm assuming I can get a few quid for those, especially as summer will come. And they're in pretty good nick. The only slight downside is for some people, is they're a button fly, and not everyone likes a button fly. So, but they're in really good condition. I mean, they're not trashed or anything. But he wears a lot of fat face, but it just goes to show. I know we complain about people not fitting into their clothes, but seriously, guys, you know, you can go into a shop and I can have anything from a size 8 to a size 16 fit me, depending on what they think they're making and how badly cut it is. Yeah, so it is tricky, but it kind of is why I put the measurements on things, but I still get stuff back and it annoys the shit out of me. I know there's some discussion going on one of the groups about GSP. So far, I generally haven't had too much problem with GSP, and I looked back and I checked. And when someone returns something by GSP, I can't send them a label because they're overseas and I don't have access to their couriers. They have to pay for it. In theory, they can then tell me how much they paid for it and I give them the money back. But what's happened most of the time is actually I've just got the items to deliver back to me. I give them a refund, which is what shows me that they paid, which is basically my postage cost and the cost of the item. So I'm thinking that somehow maybe eBay does suck up the return cost. But I had somebody the other week, well, not the other week, just recently, who bought a skirt off me in America. And I'm like, okay, it wasn't expensive, and it's often the low-end stuff that is just not worth doing. She opened an item not as described because she said it was faded and worn at the edges, which it bloody wasn't. It might have been not brand new, but I never advertised these things as brand new. And she was really sniffy about it, and she made a bit of a fuss, and I let her stew for a while. And then I just thought, you know, sod it, I'll just refund her and get it off my back, and I did that. But, you know, with an expensive item, you know, you can get it back. So, and if you've got any doubts, talk to the people at eBay, and I'm sure they'll reassure you. But the GSP thing it doesn't always go badly, trust me. I sell probably between 15 and 20% of all of my stuff goes GSP. And in all price ranges, all kinds of things, and I have very few problems. So please don't be disparaged about using it. It's worth taking a punt. And I've sold lots of things to people with low amounts of feedback, so I don't find that makes too much of a difference. Obviously, if you've checked someone's feedback and they've had a lot of very odd comments and they've complained a lot, then you might think twice about it. But hey, right, oh dear, I missed the chat again. Ooh. You've got 5 waters, Karen, on a long black wool coat. Yes, I've got quite a few coats, and I love them. But you know what? I am not having them go for next to nothing. If I've got something that's good money, it can go down in my shed, packed away, and it will stay on there, and it will post next year. It'll sell next year. I've had stuff that happens to. You've got a nightmare buyer, DBG. Ooh, yeah. You don't have to refund any postage. Well, why would you? I'd suggest you just block them from here on in if they're going to be that annoying. It's really horrible. There are people that just seem to take great joy in making life miserable. And I think Carla and other people have said, quite often it's the lower value items that they'll make the biggest stink about. Karen sells, makes and was it Karen makes and resells? That's Karin. I'm sorry, I'm such an idiot. And then I've got Karen sells clothes. That's why I get confused. I'm sorry, that's me being a bit dyslexic. I think she actually had a neat response, which really goes, yes, I know the postage will cost a certain amount, but I have to buy packaging, I have to drive to the post office. I really over egg it if you're having trouble with them, but stay polite because it will make a difference, hard as it is, and we all want to give them a good smack around the chops. It was you with the question. Yes, of course. That's fine. There isn't an absolute 100% answer on it, but I generally find GSP is a pretty positive thing. There's a bomb threat at Stansted Airport. Oh my God. Oh, Phoebe, yes, be careful. Yes, well, that could have been someone just stupidly left their suitcase somewhere. I'm hoping it's something and nothing. Obviously, if you need to go and follow that, then please do, because that would worry the hell out of me as well. God, especially as I'm going to Stansted Airport in the summer to fly. I'm sure they've sorted it by then, but it can happen, can't it? Now, I gather that this sort of thing is very in because I've sold rather loud trousers. In fact, they're not coming out nearly as loud as they really are. They're a sort of what you call a jacquard or a brocade trouser. Sort of taper leg, I suppose. A little bit shiny, but they seem to be very in at the moment. These are, of course, our lovely friend Jerry Weber, or whatever they call him. Not always a fast seller, but they will go if they're loud enough. I find loud stuff from Jerry Weber sells well. I actually paid £3.50 for those. But I thought they should go because I keep seeing these kind of very bold trousers paired with either clashing prints or with long tucked shirts in. Not my style at all. It would make me look completely awful, but they obviously suit some people. So I'm hoping they'll go. Bread and buttery stuff. Don't know. I'll probably try for 20 on those. What I did run into 3 pairs of Oscar trousers. Now, we're always going on about Oscar, aren't we? Yeah, no, Julie, do go. I hope everything's all right. Hello. Mandy, isn't it? Hello. Nice to see you. Yes, I'm a bit thrown by that. Bomb alert, that's absolutely horrible. I was very surprised to find 3 pairs of Oscar trousers. And if I checked this pair really closely, because these are a nice linen pair, I mean, you don't see them very often, so I will show you the label. I know most of you probably know Oscar. Someone's cut the inner labels from this one. Kill nasty customers with sickly kindness. Yes, smother them with goop. They're wonderful. They're very high-waisted. They're incredibly high-waisted, these linen trousers. These are a wide leg version, and I'm racking my brains trying to work out if these are the feigned balloon leg or not, because they seem to go for the high amount of money. What I failed to notice, and I don't think I can do anything about, is there's a little bleach mark there and a tiny one on the other side. So someone was clearly, I don't know, splashing Dettol down their loo whilst wearing their expensive Oscar trousers. Very naughty. They are well made, though. I'll certainly say that for them. They're beautifully constructed. To be fair, I paid £4 each on each pair for these. These ones, I suspect I'm going to have to let go. I should still get 20 for them, though, because they're really nice. And it's not horribly noticeable. Obviously, it will be declared, photographed, the fading noted, and every tiny fault going. But, it's not a fail. It's just not as big a success as I was hoping for. The other 2 pairs, one in grey and one in black, are actually slim. And they're size 1s. Now, size 1 is a teeny tiny size. It's kind of the way size I used to have back in the day. And obviously there are different cuts. I'm trying to research these. These helpfully say slim on them. Again, very high-waisted. But I'm thinking if you're a tiny size, that's actually quite a big leg. It wouldn't be on a bigger size trouser. So I'm trying to work out what they'd actually look like on someone. I can't see the exact model on the website. They're obviously an older model. But there's nothing wrong with these apart from a bit of fading. And I think people love Oscar so much and probably can't afford it new that, assuming there's no other faults, I'd probably be forgiven for that. So, I don't know, 25? The research is being difficult on these. Oscar's one of those brands, you see the label and you kind of grab it, don't you? It was an unattended bag. I thought so, because people rush off and they leave them. Yes, they are ladies' trousers. They're all ladies. Oscar is very much... Now I'm looking. It's funny, isn't it? You put something down another way and you think, oh, that looks a bit stretched. Right, I think what's happened here, you won't be able to see it on there, is someone's strained to get into them a little bit, and that because they're double stitched, and any quality trouser will be double stitched, it's come apart a little. I might just repair that, because in fairness, it's not a rip. It is literally that a couple of stitches have popped. So, and I have a repair pile the size of a mountain. Yeah, someone's clearly strained themselves getting in those, but they are tiny, and we all change shape. Let's just check the other one and see if they've done the same. They have really nice zips and things. I like sort of details, but they have really nice quality zips. And I don't think people will mind if they're a bit faded, as long as you tell them that's the case. Has she done the same? It must have been the same woman. Oh, clearly they landed and I just swooped. Yep, no, the other pair haven't been stretched. Oh, it's fun having chat here. This is nice and social. I cleared my enormous backlog of stuff because I've got a jumble sale coming up on Saturday. So I kind of needed to get the decks cleared. Cameras, well, Corinne, what can I say? Well done getting them on, and I'm glad they're selling. Send them all to Nick to model. Yes, you probably fit into them as well. I'm about twice the size of Nick. I'm about twice the size of most people. But yes, I'm very much switched off. I think I sold about £59 worth of stuff yesterday, which is appalling. I like my days to be £100 days, but we all get the odd tumbleweeds, and overall I'm doing all right. Pound Girl's in. Hello. Hiya. And Peter, of course. Thank you for joining us, Peter. I'm not very good at keeping up with the tap chat because I've been very busy. If you can drop in where your Epsom meetup is, if there's a chance, and in fact Epsom is surprisingly awkward to get to from where I am, but if there is a chance, it would be quite nice to pop along. But I can only get away for so many things because the husband will get a bit antsy if I'm absent for too many things. So, when I saw this print, I mean, how cool is this print? Little boats. See, little sailing boats. Now, I know there are people, and it's a short sleeve one, so, well, hello, summer's coming. And then I saw the brand. Hobbs, yes, please. And in a big size. She says her eyeballs going. Yeah, it's an 18. It's an 18. Oh, it's a splendid big dress. Sort of midi length, I suppose, with a tie belt. Hasn't got those annoying wrap things that I don't know, I think I'm so over wrap style, really. It was all very well. And I really don't think it's been worn because although it hasn't got its original tags, it's still got that in. And if you wore it with that big bit of plastic in, I think you'd be highly irritated. I paid £6 for it, but I don't think that's bad. And I've not really been able to see too much similar. It took a lot of searching to find out what it was called. I did find out what it was called, and I have drafted a listing, but I'm going to aim high for it because it's unusual, quirky, it's Hobbs, it's all good, really. It is fabulous, isn't it? You'd certainly see someone coming in that, walking. It's the sort of thing. How can I put this without sounding, oh God, okay, let's just go for it. Quite regularly for a few years back, we used to go on holiday to Whitstable, and anyone that knows the area, Whitstable's kind of it's become a bit London on Sea, and it's all a bit shishy now. But we've been going for years and love it. It's small, it's contained, it's fun, but they've got all these little shishy boutiques there, and it's the kind of thing you'd expect some woman with sort of a cloud of perfume and a lot of expensive accessories to kind of like clatter along the street in one of these, with about 6 children in tow, all called Tarquin. So I'll leave that there. I'm just kidding. I love people watching it. Amuses the hell out of me. So that was the stuff from yesterday, and that was £35 in total. So I'm hoping for good returns on that. I'm slightly disappointed with the Oscar trousers that I might not get as much as I thought, but it's not exactly a fail. Yeah, I know. When I knew I was going to have my son, we were joking about names that we could call him. And I think the popular, the jokey ones were things like Jack, because everybody's called Jack, aren't they? And Tarquin. We've got one. There's one relative of ours, they've called their children all very ordinary names, and then the youngest child is called Atticus. Atticus? Where on earth do you get the name Atticus from? It's bizarre. I mean, really. Could have just called him Genghis Khan, it would have been simpler. Anyway, so I didn't go for any of those names with my son, but although Ramesses II was quite popular, I had to think about Egypt. There's no way. I really wouldn't have done it. You cannot inflict those sort of names on a child. So we went for Alexander in the end because it's quite a classic name and it can kind of suit all sorts. You're not kind of labelled by your name, if you know what I mean. You're not pigeonholed before you've even started out in the world. Jeremiah. That's a corking name, isn't it? Absolutely corking. Right. Now, the next things I've got to show you actually are very few clothes. And I've kind of gotten to the point now where most of my business is clothes. Cool, blimey, Karen, you're going to need a lot of energy to do all of those. 5? Good job we got the car, missus. Yes, of course, and it will be hard choosing a name. But you have to think about what the initials look like, how the first name segues into the second name, what possible nicknames could come about. I mean, let's put it this way. My husband's surname is different from mine. I kept my surname. I mean, I've had it for long enough. Why would I change? But his surname is Jing, not Chinese. It's Ching. It goes back to the 1500s, to blah, blah, blah. We've got all the evidence. But when you've got a surname like Ching, what kind of a first name are you going to have, really? I mean, Kerr is obviously out of the question, but it's unavoidable. So, you've got to think these things through. So Alexander Ching kind of had a flow to it, whereas other names just didn't. Caroline's in. Hello, Spartacus. That's corking, and you're not even joking. Wow. I'm glad the voice of reason, i.e. you, prevailed. He's William, isn't he? William. Yes, it's fine. A fine name and one you can make your own. Spartacus. That's brilliant. Can you imagine every other kid in class standing up going, I am Spartacus, or something like that. Yes, nice strong names. They're always good. I do think you do need a strong name. You don't want them to be stereotyped too much in any way. I've just done a few clothes, Caroline, so you may want to backtrack. But this is another clothing item. This was from this morning. Can you see this? It's very bouclé. It's not super long. It's kind of like a very long jacket. But it was monsoon, and it cost me £5. So I thought, hey, why not? It's one of these popper jobs. It's a popper job, that is. And all the poppers are present, and I really couldn't see any faults with it. I keep expecting to find something. It's not too heavy either, so I think if I get that on really quickly, it's a good spring weight as well. The thing is, it's hard to work out what's bobbles and what is actually just bobbles you need to get rid of. And you can't go over these with the miracle that is a debobbler. You just have to sit and pull, which I find strangely satisfying. But let's not make dead air. But I will go over that and try and remove the excess bobbling so that we're just left with a nice boucle effect. Oh, you can have a name picked, and then yes, actually we had, when I knew we were having a boy, which was a lot harder because I had lots of girls' names kind of in my head for some strange reason. The moment he was born, I looked at him and he looked at me, which he did quite in a focused fashion, which was quite strange for a child who's literally just been born, but there you go. I just knew he was Alexander. The other names just wouldn't have suited him. Strange, isn't it? What have we got here? That was a size 12 as well, so it's a reasonable size. a reasonable size. I'm sure someone will love. Oh, I'll tell you what, just for Mrs. M's benefit, just for Caroline's benefit, just showing you the label of the fur coat. If you see this brand out there, Caroline, you may well know it already, quite possibly. Helen Berman. Very high-end faux fur coat. Lots of dosh in that one, and they are just so beautiful. So it's just it's a bolo, but I think I've never seen it before, and I may never see it again. You might also like the Boats Hobbs dress I picked up. I mean, you're going to see her coming a mile off, aren't you, in one of these? It's lovely though, and it is an 18, unworn. Nice. So that's the clothes, because I think as I was off to Slim World. Good luck. Good luck there at Slimming World. Corinne Black Label, Corinne Garage at school. Oh, Corinne. Oh, yeah. Corinne Black Label. Oh, yeah, there, right. And I said, no, we wanted to call him Hamilton. Isn't there a pig in some kids' cartoon now called Hamilton? Quite possibly. Goodness me. Horatio. That's another one. Geronimo. Oh, that's a fantastic name. But it's a hell of a name to live up to. It's like there's quite a lot of people around here who seem to be calling their children Freya. What they don't realise is that Freya is a goddess name, which carries quite a lot of energy with it, and they're often trouble Freyas, you'll notice. Maybe it's to do with the name, maybe it's because it suited the child, who knows. But you call a child, I mean, of course, I love the name Isis, but anyone who calls their child Isis in this current climate is probably chancing things, which is a real shame. Oh, Peter's taking the message back. Jason, hello, Jason. Yeah, that will go well. It was Hobbs as well. So what's not to like? And at £6, I'm going to go high with that one. I'm going to go high, yes, for a cruise or one of those boating holidays on the canals. A Paul Berman coat. Oh, okay. I don't know. I don't know if they're related. If they are, Helen's obviously doing better. Paul better pull his socks up. Oh, dear. Yeah, Jason's in the house. So, yeah, like I was saying, I love doing the clothes and I adore clothes, and clothes I kind of ended up in almost by accident, because I started off really with furniture and vintage stuff, and I'm kind of aware I need to go back to that because it's a great learning opportunity. It's what I love, and I don't want to be restricted and not be able to pick up stuff. So I'm hoping to get storage and things. So I picked up some things that weren't clothes. The first one I picked up, is heavy over here and probably a bit of a fail. It's grubby as hell. There we go. It's got a bubble in the bottom. It's not complete without a bubble in the bottom, is it? And it's a nice thick quality. And I was thinking, oh yes, art glass. I did look briefly at the bottom. Couldn't see it. It's I could tell it was being ground down. It's been hand blown, and it was £1. So I kind of thought, yeah, I'll grab that. I'm not going to inspect it too closely. It's filthy. I mean, seriously, filthy. I didn't inspect it terribly closely, but when I took the label off, there is a sticky label, which I hadn't realised, underneath, saying handmade in Thailand for Habitat. And I thought, oh dear, it's a fail. It's some modern thing that, oh God, now look what I've done. It's some modern thing and it's going to be hopeless. But actually, they are still going for nearly £20. Sorry, love that sound. So although it not being something genuinely retro, it has a good retro look. It is well made. So it's not a fail. Who knew? I just love things like that. I am drawn to it. And I've been watching a lady on YouTube whose name is going to escape me now. I think she's called the Crazy Lamp Lady. She's American, much younger. Great fun, great presenter, properly professional. She's hilarious. And she takes her young child shopping with her and it works. Who knew? But she picks up all kinds of vintage stuff, and it's kind of reignited by this was originally why I got into this, and I'd like to do more of the same. So I'm going to use some of the money that I make from selling clothes and invest in learning more about vintage bits and pieces. And I do like ceramics. I got this. Again, this was £1.50. I knew it was Pool as soon as I saw it, but I'd never seen one of this shape before. Now, when I was researching this, I found out that Ms. Carla Jenkins, who doesn't seem to be in at the moment, also has a plate like this from Pool Pottery up for sale, and it hasn't sold. So Maybe I want to hide into nothing, but this is what I looked for at the back. Is it says Paul Pottery and it says Aegean. That's that sort of flowy design. 42 is the design size, I think. And I worked out that I should be able. Oh, what have I written there? See, I wrote something down and I can't see. But I should be able to get decent money. I even found out that the signature on the back is from a lady called Diane Davis. And if you can work out who signed them, who actually did the painting on top of the design, that can make them be more sought after. So is M&S the parts? Marks and Sparks. No, it's Habitat, yeah. Habitat did them, they did them for Asda too. Maybe we should. They're not the same though. They're a different design, but it's the same shape. Yeah, I don't like packing and posting, admittedly, but I need to get sort of back on it. I've got lots of boxes down the shed. I might as well use them for this kind of thing. So there's a few quid in that, but it's part of my learning. It's being able to spot things, and I'm going to have a lot of fails, and I'm going to have, obviously, I'll take you guys on the journey with me. Another pickup for £1. I saw this. I mean, how iconic design is that? It is, yes, fugly to a lot of people, but it's very distinctive. Now, what I knew was it's a hand painted. I could tell there's a texture to it. It's hand painted. It's apparently, it took me a while to work it out. It has got a stamp on the bottom. It's a thing called Langley pottery, made in England. And then I found out that it's from the minstrel range, minstrel wear, I think it is. And it was done by Glyn College. So the key with these things is finding out who has done them. And that's what can bump the value up or encourage people to, who are collecting, to be looking for specifics. So, yeah, so there's going to be some money in it. I haven't done all my research. I have literally, like, a bit like Karen has her grandma shelf. I have my kind of book about shelf where I put things that I like and that I want to research and that I might get around to listing one day. Stuff I'm learning about. But it was just so cool. It's not huge. It's filthy inside. Filthy inside. You probably won't be able to see them. I quite like them and have a little mark on. Oh, I think that's right around Langley. But it was just a nice thing. It felt nice and had nice quality. So, yeah, my learning journey isn't going to be expensive. I'm never going to pay out a lot of money for something I'm not sure about. And then, so they're not going to make big money because they're not hugely valuable things, but it's part of my learning process. The other thing I picked up that maybe I shouldn't have done, but they were £1 whole English pound each. Outside of the charity shop were sat on the little table outside, thank goodness it wasn't raining, 3 blankets, stripy blankets. And I know people like these. These are a little bit bobbly and I'm going to have to go and pick them over. But it was £1. I mean, they're wool blend. They're not as heavy as a pure wool blanket, which again possibly makes them more useful for camping or, what's the label now? Lost in the blanket. They're single size. They are quite bobbly, so again, I'm going to be sitting, picking, bobbling, debobbling them a bit. They're not perfect. They're not the best, but they've got that nice name on them people like to see, which is Whitney. You can get Whitney merino blankets, which are worth a lot of money. You can get Whitney wool blankets that can go for a reasonable amount depending on the colour, size, condition. It says it's fibre blend with wool, so this isn't completely wool, which might make it, but for £1 each, I mean, if I get 15 for it, I'll be happy. You like my vase. I couldn't resist it. It's so iconic, isn't it? It's just, and it's got all these sort of different shades in it. It's not just plain. I'm still slightly in two minds as to whether I actually like it or not, but there's something about it. So I've got to go by my instincts, really. Dust catchers, oh God, yes they are. Oh, Peter's got to go. Grandma shelf worthy. It is. I just like that kind of kitschy stuff. I remember it really because I'm old, and yes, I am that old, where I was a young child in the 60s, and I was still a child in the 70s, or for the most part of them. So this kind of stuff was actually about when I was growing up. So the part of me kind of goes, oh, it reminds me sort of so long ago. And part of it is, wow, how cool is that? I remember seeing that in my grandma's house, literally. What have we got here? India's morning. Morning, tightly. Have I missed something there? highly, not tightly. I didn't see the beginning bit. Glen College is highly collectible, designed for Rye as well. Yes, apparently he designed for Denby for quite a number of years, but this is Langley, so it's 60s. It's 60s, I think, that one. Your morning selling the vintage LT set. Oh, yeah. That's the thing. When you get something you like, you price it high and then it goes and you're like, oh, I was hoping to keep that. Photoing blankets isn't easy. What I tend to do, I take a couple of close-ups of it all beautifully folded. Takes me a while. Showing the label. And then what I tend to do is kind of artfully throw it now. I just lob it over Edna and photo it sort of flowing. So there's not a lot else you can do. I've tried photographing on the bed, but the lighting here, because I've got one of these windows, it just looks a bit shabby and a bit gross. So, but as long as you put the measurements in. But the reason I picked these up, this is the blue one. This is the green one. It's the stripes that got me. I know people like the stripes. If they'd just been really plain, I might not have done. And we had the green one and a purple one. How cool is that? In fact, that smells like it's just been washed. It's quite a powerful softener they use. But, people are still charmed by these. And these aren't perfect ones. They're not for some pristine minimalist house. They're for people who like to put the throw over. But when I saw them for £1, charity shops around here, quite often will ask more, considerably more, for such things. And I won't buy them at a large amount of money because they could go for very little and they're bulky. But they're so easy to post. They don't break. These aren't particularly heavy. So, yes, the cellular blankets, especially the wool ones, are pretty good. Yeah. I mean, they are often. I will only buy them if they're less because they do go for less. Everyone's looking for the blankets now. At one time you could get a bit more for them, and then everyone's selling them. That's the joy of sharing, isn't it? No, I'm kidding. Let's not go there. You're going to call your mannequin Gem, short for Gemini, because she has 2 bodies. Ah, okay. Intrigued. Mine's got the one body but no head. Hence Edna. I like the stripe. Yeah, I think that's the thing. They're a bit sort of hospitally and a bit kind of nursery, and I don't know. And then they are rather nice colours, but I will be debobbling those. I will be debobbling them. You can run a debobbler over them, but when they get, if you take too much of it off, they're going to end up really thin, like kind of rice paper. And I don't want to do that to them. So that was what I bought today. So I spent £11.50 today on the coat, on the blankets, and on the bricky-backy things. So yeah, my bric-a-brac shelf has grown. But I'm kind of, when I go to jumbles, I do what most of us do. You do clothes, you have to get your place in front of that mountain of clothes. And it's this, and you put the bag behind, and this, and by the time you've done that, you have a quick flip round at everything else, but really you've missed the best of anything else, and that's that done. But boot fairs start, and I don't tend to buy that many clothes at boot fairs. I don't tend to. They're quite pricey down here. There's not, most of it's kids stuff. Decent adult clothing of a good quality is fairly rare. And our boot fairs can be enormous, the amount of walking around you do. But I have found some incredible bric-a-brac things at boot fairs, so I'm kind of hoping to go a little bit that way. I see. Sorry, it's not good telly, is it? I'm staring at a screen. Obviously, you've got different sizes. Yes, I had a 10 to 12. I had a 10 to 12 dolly, and I gave Dolly to my friend who is taking up reselling. Because she had some of her clothes that she wanted to sell, and I bought Edna, and Edna is only an 8 to 10, but I did that because I do a lot of vintage clothes and they are tiny and they just didn't look the same hung up. I still sometimes have to flat lay stuff if it's too tiny for her, which happens, we literally stick insect size, but I can pin. I've got these nice sort of grippy, yes, those nice sort of grippy things that I can peg things as well, but I will often flat lay something, especially if it's in a larger size, so people can truly see I'm not trying to sell them something tiny when that's not what they want. Wonky Wendy, I've got a friend called Wobbly Wendy, actually, but that's a whole nother story. Mind you, she's 95. There's a message held for review. Oh. Okay. Skinny mini with big tits. Oh, did we show that? Did we hide it? There we are. You can have that one. Because that's funny. Yes, if you get them sort of with breasticles, that's a whole new thing, isn't it? Really. If you're trying to photograph bras and things that have structure, it's very difficult if your mannequins are skinny mini and they just look sort of, everything's pretty vacant. Yeah, I think it's just that I've always had a love for the vintage and the bric-a-brac and designs and all that. I enjoy doing it in clothes, don't get me wrong, but I suppose I'm in my third year of doing serious eBaying, and most of that has been geared at clothes, and I've done more and more and more quantity of clothes compared to anything else. No, it's fine, so it's funny. So we can say tits on this, aren't we? Surely I'm not monetized anyway. My God, no. I'm not bothered either. It's just as well, really. So you got clothes from boots on that are a bit rubbish. You're wearing sunglasses. Yeah, that changes the colour on things. Sometimes that means you can see if there's stains on stuff, but sometimes it means obviously you're not seeing anything. So thumbnail shot right there. Yes. Yeah. I mean, I've got this jumble sale coming up, and I know I'm going to do the usual thing, go for the clothes, because that's where the money is. But I do want to try and get round and see bric-a-brac, because I love that digging around in the bottom of the box and unearthing something. And I go, oh, that's cool, without actually knowing why. It's that flying by the seat of your pants instinct stuff that I love. You know, I mean, I'm at the stage now with clothes where I don't tend to fact check stuff in the shop. I will if it's a brand I don't know. I don't have a problem with that. A new brand, or I want to be sure and think, hang on, is there actually any money in it? And sometimes there just isn't enough money in it to make it worthwhile. But yeah, as I get picky with clothes, I also want to be more focused on learning about other stuff and just expanding my knowledge, really. I'm such a magpie, I couldn't possibly leave anything without. You've done bric-a-brac for too long and now you're trying to do clothes. Exactly. And I think it changes, it switches. What you like doing 1 year, 2 years later, you might think, you know what, fancy doing something else. You know, we all like vintage band t-shirts, don't we? But they're not easy to find. But I have found some good stuff at boot fairs. I found a load, I think it was last year, where I got a lot of Rush and Marillion sort of band t-shirt memorabilia. And I did very well on those. Not Nirvana well. Blimey, that was just amazing. But I you know, there was good money out of it, and it was someone just literally flogging off probably a collection that had been left somewhere, house clearance. And I love all that sort of thing. The more interesting find, you know, those really weird and wonderful things that you think, yeah, I've got to look out for those again, because no one's going to recognise that's worth money, but I know it is. Rose tinted glasses, quite possibly. Did you think you were buying everything in pink? Band t-shirts, yeah. It's lovely. It's lovely when we find them. I think we all know to look for them now. And then that sad thing with the Prodigy, with Keith from the Prodigy going. I was looking. There was something about the Prodigy, and there was t-shirts that I saw on sale, and unfortunately, they all go up in price when the band member checks out. So very sad. Blind without your glasses. You look so much like your mother with them on. Yes, that tends to happen, doesn't it? Yeah, you see, I wear glasses for driving and stuff, but when I'm looking at you guys, if I put my glasses on, you'd be all blurry, so I have to take them off. But I'm the wrong way around, really. Yeah, Smiths, yes. I sold a lovely Smiths jumper. It wasn't Morrissey looking at his best, I must say, but that went for reasonable money as well, and it wasn't lovely. It really wasn't particularly lovely. There were lots of t-shirts. There's a t-shirt that I had that I wish I could have again, but I couldn't possibly afford it if I came across an original one. But I wore mine to death, and it literally fell apart. So, yeah, short-sighted. Yes, only needed for distance. In fact, as I get older and as I decline with the passing years, I yeah, I mean, I'm reading that far away instead of that far away. So that is starting to come back in. So eventually I will need both, I'm sure. But hey, what can we do? Embrace it. Nirvana one. Oh, God, Karen. Yes, because that was the one I sold. But this is the joy. The thing is, if everyone had kept them, they wouldn't have been worth half what they are. It's like people didn't look after them and they chucked them out when they thought they'd grown out of their phase. So, yeah. But, you know, those kind of big finds are amazing. I can't show them to you because they're not up here now. But a brand that I found, and again, it was accidental. I went to my flea market lady and she had next to nothing for me last week. I'm hoping she's got more this week. And I just literally picked up a couple of bits for myself, but I saw some boots under the table. Great big chunky engineer boots, the sort of biker boot, grunge look. And inside, they really looked like they needed some love. But they were intact. They were just a bit scuffed and sort of dusty looking and really rather sad. And they were my size. But they were a brand called Loblan, Loblan. Now, actually, they go for good money as well. I'm hoping to get about 70 quid on them. And I think I paid her a tenner for everything I bought. So I probably spent about £6 or £7 on those. And now that was a lucky find. I don't know the brand, but it's the quality thing. And that's the only thing you can get with practice and learning. And I'm going to have that same journey learning about all my ceramics and glass and the things that I've got beady eyes for, really. Yeah. You've got 1985 Slayer tour t-shirt. It was my dad's. Oh, wow. Yes, we see. I was going to say I'm probably the same age as your dad, so or even older. Yeah, but yeah, hang on to them. I've got an original Vivienne Westwood thing. Actually, I can show it to you. So if you ever see one, you'll know. Where is it? Where is it? Sorry, bear with. If you ever see anything with this design on, grab it. This is all packaged up now, but it's World's End. It was from the summer of 1981 because I went and bought it from their World's End shop when I was the tender age of 18 back in 1981. Yes, brown biker style. Yeah, the ones that sort of have the circle and the leather band around the ankle area, if that makes sense. And this is my pride and joy. I'm probably never ever going to part with this because this is just about the most desirable colourway in Vivienne Westwood. This is just about the rarest designer shirt she ever did, it's a great V-neck, huge balloon sleeve pirate shirt. I dread to think what it's worth now, but obviously if I ever do sell it in many years to come. But am I ever too old to do a pirate? Probably not. It's all wrapped in nice tissue paper and looked after now. Yeah, it's kind of like, that was the first thing by a designer that I ever bought myself with money I'd earned working, doing horrible factory type jobs in the summer. So it's very special to me. It was a very particular era of my life, 1981 on the King's Road. And I will always remember it. So, oh, you were born in 1989. Oh, bless. Oh, goodness me. Yes, you could easily be a child. Fantastic. Could I frame it? I probably could, but I'd rather wear it. I probably will wear it a few more times because it's just cotton. I mean, it's not anything super delicate. I didn't wear it so often that I wore it out. I just need to look after it and wear it, yeah. What I do want to frame, of course, are the infamous nipple tassels from Lex. Hi, Lex, if you're watching this back. Because, I mean, very unlikely to actually wear them out in person, as it were. Nobody needs to see that. But, yeah, I'm looking for one of those sort of like 3D frames, just a little one, so that I can pop them in and then mount them on the wall in the office. So, things that I mean to do. It's on my to-do list. Your mum cut what up for dusters? Karen, please, no. What did your mum get up? Oh, I see, the Nirvana t-shirt. I bet she wasn't the only one. I bet she wasn't the only one. Oh, geez. That's just awful. Oh, that's so sad. It's so sad. Oh, my God, I've been yakking on, for which I can only apologise for 50 minutes at you lot. And that wasn't the world's biggest haul either. I'm going to try and make a sales video, and I'll probably do it now and record it on my phone and send it up. So it'll be a bit wibbly wobbly, but I'll try and pick out some interesting things because, you know, my bread and butter stuff. Do you really need to see that? But I'll try and pick out some stuff that's interesting and put a few vids up with stuff on that you can keep your eyes open for. It's been lovely to chat. I hope you're all well. I hope you're all having fantastic sales. I wish mine would pick up because, yeah, today I think I've sold one item and it's not a high value item. So eBay gods and goddesses, please switch me on because someone's flipped the switch and I'm not happy. So thank you very much, peoples. Hope you enjoyed, and I'm looking forward to someone else going live so I don't have to. Bye. Bye-bye. Yes, I do.